What is up, you guys? Thank you for coming back to the Seoul Dojo Gaming Channel. I know it's been a minute, but hey, we are here. And of course, I'm here with, I guess, basically our new co-host, Niall Edwards. What's going on, man?
Hello. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm tired, and I gotta get food soon. But I'm happy to be here.
I know,
Happy to
man.
be
We're gonna
making my
get you in and
first,
get you out.
yeah,
But
making my first
definitely,
like proper appearance as a member of the Soul Dojo.
I know. What a time to
Since
be
joining.
alive.
I gotta do some videos soon. I'm working on some stuff, but there'll be some stuff here soon.
Yeah, I mean, totally. I gotta work on. Oh my goodness, I have like 4 videos over here on my piece of paper over here that I was like, I need to get to. But the reason for this little mini podcast is because I had a really good question asked by a friend. My friend that I used to work with, his name is Fink, and he just jumped right back into gaming. And I was gonna just reply back, but I was like, I want to do a podcast and really get deep into what he was talking about and kind of give our own opinion on what everything that he was asking. So I'm gonna read the whole post right here. So he comes to me and he says, "Okay, this comes from a place of genuine curiosity. How do you feel about the gaming culture? I have only recently gotten back into gaming by any capacity, and I've noticed a boatload of hostility and negativity. People have been wanting cross platform for years, and now that it's become the mainstay, it seamlessly created more divide between console and PC players. Lastly, my main reason for bringing this up is directly reflecting this post. We are in the day and age where games look and play more realistic than ever. We should be excited to hear all these, but all I hear is how much better is the PlayStation 5 already than the Xbox, and the Xbox is garbage. Why does this matter, and why the hate?" So basically, I think the major talking points here are there is a lot of hostility and negativity within the gaming culture, and of course, like cross-platform. And why do people automatically just think PlayStation 5 is better than Xbox Series X, of course, and where all this is coming from? Niall, straight up, what do you feel about the gaming culture, the gaming landscape,
I
whether
think
it's
in
the
term,
industry or whether it's just us as consumers?
I think there's definitely this sort of stigma that a lot of people involved in the gaming community are very hostile and stuff like that. And for a long time, I was like, "Oh no, but the majority is good, and it's not all like that." But like recently, there's been so much that's really made me see a lot of the gaming community is very hostile, and I'm almost embarrassed to be a part of it. Like, you saw, like, about a year ago, Nintendo had to delay a Nintendo Direct because of a big earthquake that happened in Japan that affected a lot of people. Many people lost their homes. Many people were put through a lot of stuff there, and so they delayed the Direct because of that. And immediately the comment sections were just up in arms, demanding Directs and stuff like that, and it's just not right. Like, because gaming isn't something important. Like, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. Like, just putting it bluntly, it's not important. Like, it's entertaining, and it's like an art form, I guess. But to me, like, there's more important things in the world. And it's the same when Sony delayed their PS5 reveal event because of literally a person being killed because of police brutality.
Yeah.
And then the protests that followed that. And people were making a difference and things were changing, and that's good. And then Sony, in respect of that, said, "Look, now's not time to be celebrating or doing anything massive and happy and revealing a new era of this gaming thing."
Yeah.
And so we're gonna delay the presentation. And it was just by a week. They delayed it by a week, and that's it. But people were furious, and people were upset about it. And I looked at that and I went, "Look, that's a company that knows there's more important things going on." And a lot of the gaming companies, they do have that. But I think a lot of the fans are very... There's this sort of... this layer of selfishness that sort of demands that we want our reveals and stuff like that. And it's this weird sort of... this byproduct of capitalism, almost. And I don't want to get too deep, but it's... we're literally begging for people to advertise to us, and we don't realise how weird that is and how insane that we're demanding that and getting so angry and furious over it. And I don't get a lot of it.
I do agree with you with a lot of that. The gaming culture can be a bit harsh, and I don't know. I feel like there's so many types of gaming culture. I think esports has like its own culture. PC gaming has its own culture, but the one you were kind of explaining is more of like there's so many people that play games and they're on Reddit. There's so many people like everybody
and Twitter
has a voice.
Especially.
Yeah, exactly. Twitter, YouTube has comments. Everybody has a voice. Everybody has a platform where they can speak out, and it has become hostile. It does go back to, if you look at 360 days, where everybody was online, everybody had a mic, and I mean those chat rooms, you hear about them all the time. They were very racist and all type of stuff in those chat rooms. So I think that's kind of one of the things where it stems from. And to be honest, for the most part, most people are genuine people. It's just because they're behind like a computer screen. They think, you know what, nobody can touch me because I'm over here and I can type whatever I want to type. And it doesn't matter if anybody comes at me on Twitter, because that's just, they're miles and miles away. They're on the other side of the world or something. So that is messed up. And gaming culture can be very toxic to an extent. But there's also us as gaming culture. We're on here doing a podcast, being informative and giving people a lot of light within what's going on in the gaming community, giving our own opinions, and people can kind of trust our opinion. So there's a lot within the gaming culture, and it's a really big subject, I think. Like you said, you were getting a little deep into it.
I think especially there's this, like, no one... We live in a world, we live in a society where we are privileged enough, and people have the platform and the position to be able to criticize anything we want, whenever we want, however we want.
Right.
And whether that's through light-hearted jokes or genuinely going after a company or sending death threats to someone, people have the space to do that. And we live in a world where people have the privilege to do that, and none of us deserve to be able to criticize something, in my opinion. Like, I don't think we do We Talk, and we do this YouTube channel. I don't think we sort of, as a culture, deserve to just, anyone can make a YouTube channel and anything like that and talk about that. But we live in a world where we can do that, and that's great. But I think there's a lot of people who use that position very negatively and just use it to abuse that position. And I think there's people who spend years and years like studying game design and the same with film and TV and stuff like that, and they learn how to critique it. And then with the uprise of social media and YouTube especially, and podcasts, anyone can sort of buy like a 15 quid condenser mic and then have their say, and that can get popular. And even if they have no idea what they're talking about, like, I don't have any idea what I'm talking about most of the time. We Talk proves that. I don't know what I'm on about. And so it's a weird world where I've been lucky enough to, you know, build up a fair amount, like not a massive amount, like I'm a tiny channel, but build up like a decent amount of people who subscribe to me on YouTube, who want to hear my opinions. And that's weird, because I don't even want to hear my own opinions.
I completely agree with you.
It's a very strange world we live in, where anyone can have that platform. And I think there needs to be an argument of, should anyone have that platform, and what are the issues? Like, there's this comedian called Bo Burnham, who I think is really funny. He's got a couple Netflix specials, and I was talking about it on my other podcast that I do, and we were saying that there's a line in a monologue that he does, that he talks about how social media was sort of the market's answer to a generation who wanted to perform. And so social media went, okay, perform everything all the time and give out all your opinions and live this life, and you're going to be in the public eye.
Yeah.
And he says he's built up an audience, but he truly believes that if you have the opportunity to live your life by not performing and by not being so public on social media and criticizing everything and having your say in every little argument that comes up on the trending page, you should do it. Like, you should leave that, and you should not force yourself to be a part of that, because that's what culture has decided what everything is. Everything's on Twitter, because it's just been built up over all these years, and it's
opinions are a weird thing, because it's like they don't matter, but they're supposed to matter.
Yeah.
I think that's why opinions are weird.
And I want to really clarify that I'm not against people having their own opinions, but everyone being able to express their opinions in this weird, like, app that's a cacophony of everyone just screaming their opinion, hoping that theirs matters. And, like, you're allowed your opinion, and that's great and good, but I don't care. Like, in the nicest way possible. Not everyone needs to have their say on Twitter, and it's something that I've tried to stop doing, because whenever there was a big announcement or something, I'd always put up my reaction to it. And I realised, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't, like, I don't know. Quarantine's just made me realise that maybe the world ending is a good thing. I don't know.
Going on to the next part. So he was talking about wanting everybody wanting crossplay for years, and now it's becoming a mainstay, but seamlessly created more divide between console and PC players. I think that's more on the Call of Duty side, because there is an issue between maybe hitboxes are different, maybe what is it called, like aim assist is different on both platforms. That could be a main reason kind of why people are they're trying to find that balance. But me personally, I was a big advocate for it. Crossplay needs to happen. I did have people try to oppose me for that, but of course I was right on that other end, that PlayStation ultimately did need to come over to the crossplay side, because Xbox and Switch were kind of doing it already with I believe with like Minecraft.
They did it with Rocket League a bit as well.
I think it was Rocket League. Even Diablo, I believe, kind of had that going on.
Yeah.
So it was great, and I love the fact that Minecraft has this, because more people need to play that. Fortnite, I think, was one of the first games to get it also. So I love crossplay, and it's something that needs to stay in gaming because it's more suitable for the consumers. You know, if you have a friend that has Xbox, you have a PlayStation, you guys want to play Apex Legends or whatever crossplay game that has crossplay enabled, you can do that. He doesn't need to go out and get the same console that you have. You can still have your own opinion in your own favorite console, but you can also still play with your friends. So it's a very pro-consumer thing, and I'm always been here for the consumers.
Yeah, I don't know much about crossplay because I'm not a big multiplayer sort of guy. I prefer single player experience. I prefer like having a story and almost viewing it as like sort of like a plot and seeing it play out like a movie. And I've never been into multiplayer games, but I do think that crossplay, I don't really see what the negative parts of it could be. Like I see with PC, with shooters, I know that I find it a lot easier, and I'm not sure if this is a common thing, but I find aiming with a mouse and keyboard infinitely easier than it is with a controller.
Wow.
So that could be where an issue arises if people are getting a benefit from using one control method over the other. But at the same time, if you have that option, like, and I guess it's difficult because on PC you have the option of either using a controller or a keyboard with most things.
Yeah.
Whereas on console, very few games, I don't think any on the PS4, and then like maybe 6 or 7 on the Xbox support mouse and keyboard. So I think if all consoles allowed mouse and keyboard support for most games, then I could see that becoming less of an issue. And who knows, we might get that in the next generation.
Yeah,
but
I had a friend telling me
know.
that Call of Duty players were on console were starting to plug up their keyboard and mouse to the console and start playing that way.
Ah, yeah. Is it compatible with that?
Apparently that game is.
I might check that out then.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. I have to use a controller. I've tried to play shooters with a keyboard and mouse. It's more precise. Like, you have to be better at aiming, and it's more precise. But it's hard for me. It's very hard for me.
Yeah.
Lastly, his main reason, he said, my main reason for bringing up this is directly reflecting this post. Basically talking about, like, what's basically going on with the whole PlayStation 5 is already better than Xbox, and Xbox is garbage. And he was like, why does it matter, and why the hate? Well, does it matter? I don't like console war deniers, because there is competition. And who benefits from the competition? We do, because if PlayStation and Sony want to be better than Xbox, and Xbox wants to be better than Sony, then those two consoles are always going to elevate their game and innovate their game. And guess who gets the benefit of that? The consumer does. So I do like the fact that there is competition, but I've been meaning to say this for a while. When it comes to picking my side, I'm done with it. I like both of them. I want them both to succeed. I want the Nintendo Switch to succeed. I want my PC right here to succeed. I want everybody to succeed. And I want amazing games that come out of this. So what I get with him is he's basically saying, I'm just excited for the generation that's coming up. We have amazing games like we just got done with We Talk. We were talking about amazing games that were coming for PlayStation. We already talked about a lot of the amazing games that were coming for Xbox. So I'm literally just hyped for the generation that's ahead. And I don't know where you stand on that side, Niall, if you're just if you're picking a side, and the hate is just coming from these tribal PlayStation people, these tribal Xbox people that just want to nitpick on PlayStation or Xbox. I know PlayStation people are very tribal. They got, I think when Horizon Zero Dawn went over to the PC, there was a lot of people like, well, you're taking our exclusives. Why are you doing, like, the people got really tribal about PlayStation. But the funny thing is, a lot of PC exclusives go to PlayStation themselves. But I think PC is a neutral console. I don't think if it goes over there, you're not really losing your exclusive. I just think it's just, well, it's on PC, like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that though.
Yeah, I like you say, competition is always good between these different sort of console manufacturers because it each makes them want to sort of elevate themselves and step up their game.
Yeah.
But at that same time, seeing these people lose their minds at each other on Twitter and on other social media, like when the PS5 was revealed and they showed off the design, seeing people like just get like angry at each other and start trying to tear each other down was really irritated me to see, because we've just got this new thing announced that a lot of people are excited for, and the first thing that a lot of people in the gaming community try to do is tear it down and go, oh, it looks like this, that, and the other, oh, it looks awful, oh, it's got no power, and vice versa with Sony fans and with PlayStation fans and the Xbox Series X. Right. And like, oh, it looks like a fridge, and like, yeah, the jokes are funny and great, make your jokes.
Make your memes.
Yeah, the memes are great. I like memes. Pickle Rick. But when it goes beyond that, and when people are actually attacking people, and some of the sort of deflammatory things I've seen in comment sections, and when the same joke is being spammed in every single comment section on every single tweet one of the companies puts up, it gets old, and it just it's not. But and it goes past the point of being like fun, friendly banter to the point of being like, you're being malicious now, and it's because, like I say, it doesn't matter. Like none of this matters. Like which console you're going to buy compared to the other than sales, doesn't really matter. It's just the one you own, and that's the one you play games on, and it doesn't matter what someone else thinks or what, like, it doesn't matter. Like, pick the one that you prefer, not the one that Twitter has decided is the best one. Like, if the Xbox Series X has more things you prefer, get that, even if it's the less popular one. If the PS5 has more things that you prefer, get that. Like, it doesn't, and I just don't see the point in any sort, because like you say, the console wars do exist, because whilst there are multiple companies in the same market, because the same thing happens with, like, soda. Pepsi versus Coke is a long, ongoing thing, and it's not as major because you're not buying like one bottle of Coke every 7 years, and you've got to pick your side. But like, it exists in every industry, and it will always exist in Star Wars versus Star Trek, everything like that. It will always exist in every industry as long as there is more than one person manufacturing things for that industry. But the reason why you see it turned up to 11 with consoles is just because that culture has developed slowly over time, where I feel like people think it's okay to develop that, like you say, almost tribal attitude. And it's become, like I say, something embarrassing to be a part of, because the loudest and most like fucked voice will always be the most heard. And so when people outside the gaming community look into the gaming community and see people yelling at each other and all that sort of negativity, it reflects badly on everyone else. And it's made me like, because like when someone comes around and sees like my PS4 on the shelf, it'd be something cool for them to go, oh, you've got a PS4, let's play some stuff. But now, like, with like, I kind of want to hide it and be like, oh, I'm not, it's weird. I don't, life's strange. I don't.
Well, that's what, we were talking about is like these opinions. A lot of people, like, really our opinion don't even matter. We're just here and people are just watching it. Some people do like it, some people don't. And we're here for the conversation. Yeah. I mean, we're here for the conversation as long as, it ain't malicious. And honestly, when it comes to the PlayStation 5, when it comes to Xbox, we won't know which one's which until we press the on button. I mean, we are getting the exclusives. We can weigh in the exclusives, Godfall versus Halo, all this stuff. We can do all that stuff. We can do videos on it, whatever. ultimately it comes down to our opinion. It really ultimately comes down to we have to wait till we actually play these things. And like I said before, I'm getting both of them. So I'm not really on anybody's side. I'm just like, well, this one has this and this one has that. And I think both consoles have a good start. This is a completely different start from the last generation, where Xbox kind of messed it up in the beginning really, really, really early. We're talking E3 before it even happened, before they even released the console, and PlayStation was doing the right thing. So, but it seems like Microsoft kind of have a good direction going on right now. So I think this is going to be a good fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I think what is important to say is that... Hang on. I just totally lost my train of thought. Hang on. I had something to say and it's gone.
Which tends to happen a lot
Yeah.
when you podcast. You're like listening to another person, you're like, oh, I like that point right there. But then you kind of forget.
Yeah. What I was going to say, it's just come back to me, is that... And I think game reviews, and the same thing with movie reviews and TV and anything that gets reviewed, for the most part, are useless, and I hate them. And I know that might sound hypocritical at first, and I'm not talking about podcasts or YouTube channels or stuff like that, because I think that can be really useful. But when you look at a company like IGN or Game Informer or something like that, that's got a team of 100 reviewers, you're never quite sure where that review is coming from. And so I might listen to my favorite podcast, and one of them says oh, I like this game, it's got everything I really enjoy, and the other one says, oh no, I don't like this game, and I think it's awful. I know I will, because I've listened to, say, 300 episodes of that podcast. Yeah. I know these people, and I know which one of them my views normally line up with, and I can then go, oh, okay, so this person's saying it's a good game, and I usually agree with them. I think I'll enjoy this, and I'll go play that game. Whereas with reviewers on big websites that have tons of people, even on YouTube, it can sometimes be someone reading out the review and another person wrote it. You never know where the review is coming from, so you can't tell whether your opinion is going to line up with them. I hated Link's Awakening. You loved it. We talked about it on We Talk, and we both discussed our opinions. We didn't attack each other in any way. We just sort of talked about what each individually thought.
Me and you never do, yeah.
And
yeah, that's true.
No. And yeah, that's what that was. And yeah, I just think reviews from big corporations don't matter, and I think they stir the fuel of the fire. And I think that's true with the console war thing as well, and the maliciousness of it. A reason that has been built up is especially because of how marketing was in the 90s, where you got the Sega does what Nintendo don't, and it was really Sega sort of putting the middle finger up to Nintendo.
Yeah, that's right.
And really trying to show off. But it's also because of these gaming publications and these big things that try and sort of create this anger to get clickbait and to get sort of views on their articles and stuff like that. And it's all manufactured by that, and people have just bought into it.
Yeah, Kotaku's
established
very,
communism, I
bad
reckon.
with that. Kotaku's very bad with that. I think it was after the people love negativity, so it was 10 minutes after the reveal of the PlayStation, it was the PlayStation looks absolutely awful. Just out of nowhere, just the PlayStation looks absolutely awful. Is
opinion-based. It's 100% opinion-based.
It is.
But so a big, as a news company saying it looks awful, you can't be releasing that as news, because that's an opinion. It doesn't make... And they weren't putting it up as a review. They were putting it up as if it was a news piece. It's breaking news, the PS5 looks
shit.
It
looks awful. It looks awful. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to report on the news and then kind of slide in your opinion at the end.
Oh, yeah. You can insert your own opinion, and you can... But if you're working for a big company like Kotaku or something like that, I think you have an obligation to make it very clear when you're stating your opinion that it is just your opinion, and that you don't speak for Kotaku, or you don't or that it isn't fact. And I think putting something up and trying to claim that a design of something, that'd be like me in an art gallery looking at a painting and going, I don't like that painting, and then I go and write a big newspaper article about how it's a bad painting.
It's still bad.
No, it's not. It's it's my opinion.
Yeah.
If other people like it, that's fine. If I think it's no good, that's also fine. But I hate review culture and people looking at it as if it's news. And I just think, I especially, this is off it's on topic, but it's sort of branching out from what I was saying. I hate hype culture around gaming.
Oh,
I
that's
really
changed a bit
despise
though.
hype culture.
Yeah, hype culture. Okay, because the Division, I think Ubisoft was really taking a big chunk of that and really using that to their advantage. When you look at games like Watch Dogs and the Division, they really took the hype of those games. They were really showing the PC version of those games, making them look really, really good. And then when you got them, everything was just watered down. And a lot of people now are not handling that. And that's what I want to kind of talk to you real quick about, Niall, is that, do you feel like our culture is the way it is because of how developers have treated us also? When you look at microtransactions, when you look at that hype culture stuff, when you look at a lot of times people have lied on their games or said that, it was going to be in there, but it ended up not being in there. Do you think like maybe that's fueled a lot of the fire also on how we act?
I think maybe because people will see that, and like if they've bought a game for a specific reason and then that's not shipped in the final product, but before release they made no indication that wasn't in there, that is going to anger people, and that is going to stir up that anger and get people to start acting maliciously online. But I think when I talk about hype culture, I think I mean it more in like a lot of YouTube especially. It's sort of like the big flashy colours and then like the dubstep intro and everybody get hype and stuff like that. And I think that encapsulates a lot of the gaming community, and that I don't like that. And again, that's just my opinion. Like, my opinion doesn't mean anything. Like,
no.
What have I got to say?
Yeah. You're a great YouTuber. I mean, people gonna watch, people gonna listen, but yeah, at the end of the day, none of our opinions really matter. But people can gravitate to them and agree with them, and that's why it's always good to have good opinion, because you don't know who's grabbing it and being like trying to use it. Also, I think that's a crazy thing, because I've listened to stuff and been like, I agree with that totally. I'm probably gonna end up using that. Like that's completely true, and that happens. It's not like I'm stealing their idea. It's just I agree with it. I understand it. And I'm just kind of bringing it up in a conversation or in a podcast also. Or sometimes those kind of opinions open up your mind to like, oh, I never really looked at it like that way. Maybe that, like, just getting new facts and changing your opinion is like very adult. Like, it's what it's about. I mean, we could switch this around, talk about football. Like, I think Liverpool are absolutely awful. I hate them completely. Like, I think
Liverpool are a good team. Like, I don't support them, but I rate them.
But of course, they've done all the right stuff to get their team back on track. Their squad together, when they play together, it's really good. They play fast and fluid.
So far, they've had like a near unbeaten season.
Yeah.
So as a Manchester United fan, you can look at it and go, "Oh, I hate Liverpool. They suck."
But
I think
they deserve it.
As a Man United fan, there's a part of you that has to sort of step back and go, "Oh no, they're actually good. Like they've been a good team this season, and
no, that's right.
They've played well and they've deserved." Like, if, and this would never happen, but if Rangers won the Premiership, I would have to step back and go, okay, they got the points and they won the league, and as long as it was fair and there was no like foul play involved or they didn't cheat their way there, like imagine if for the like 10 or 20 years they were like doing weird tax and finance stuff and using money that the club didn't have to buy all their best players, and then in 2012 went bankrupt and had to go back down. Imagine that. Imagine that.
Oh,
world.
He's throwing stone. Look, man, we're gonna switch it up before my grandma hears me upstairs.
Yeah.
But no,
and
man, Fink, I hope that helped you answer the question a little bit. And this is just coming from two people that we podcast. How long have me and you podcast together? About a year.
Year and a half.
Year and a half now, and this is just
December. We did a Smash Bros video, December 2018. So
that's right.
A year and like 6 or 7 months.
Right, and me and you've been podcasting together. We podcast all the time. So, I mean, hopefully this really helps you out,
Sometimes
man. Now, do you want to plug anything before I let you go?
Listen to MTO. It's my comedy podcast with my two very close mates, Gideon and Dylan. It's a very funny podcast, I hope, where we just talk about a weird thing that's happened to us, a funny story we've got, or we sometimes try and uncover the identity of a man who's using an Australian comedian called Nick Capper to craft a persona as a stand-up comedian and email us asking if he can buy us a new laptop.
Oh my
Which
goodness.
was a weird... That's the first episode of the podcast. You can listen to that. The audio quality is not great for that one, but we are going to sort of almost do like a remastered version soon, where we're going to sort of retell the story, but now that we've got proper HD audio and stuff like that. But it's a very funny podcast. We do a segment at the end of each episode called Are Scary, where one of us has come up with 3 stories, 3 spooky, ghost, or paranormal stories. 2 of them are real, 1 of them is fake. And we've got to guess which one is the fake one, and that's a really fun segment that we do at the end of every episode. And we talked politics recently, which,
Hey,
if you want to hear that...
All the British politics.
We do YouTube on that. And we're going to start doing comedy sketches. I'm trying to transition all my YouTube stuff away from gaming and more into doing comedy, which is why I'm really glad that I've joined the Seoul Dojo, because even now that I'm changing all of that, I still have this outlet to do the gaming stuff. So,
oh, yeah, totally,
I guess
man.
look forward to that.
Totally. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Seoul Dojo Gaming channel. You guys are going to see some way more awesome videos coming up soon from me, Niall, and hopefully Jay when I get a hold of him. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we're going to check you guys later, all right? Peace.
I'm going to go get pizza. Can we end the episode with me saying that?